You ever walk into a room where you know you don't belong and still end up changing the entire course of everyone's future? I swear, if you told me I'd see a billionaire sheik go silent because of a hotel maid, I would have laughed you right out of the Westwood. But yeah, that happened. And let me tell you, that presidential suite? It was a war zone, everyone in suits, voices getting sharper by the hour, a $4.8 billion Manhattan deal dangling by a thread nobody seemed able to grab. For 3 days, the team from Pinnacle Investments and the folks from the Abu Dhabi Sovereign Fund had been circling each other, grinding through translators, poring over every syllable, every comma. James Wilson, Pinnacle CEO, looked like he hadn't slept since last Christmas, just offered what he thought was a decent compromise, trying to save this city-changing project. And then, just like that, Sheikh Adnan Al-Farsi switched from that British perfect English to lightning-fast Arabic, shutting the Americans out so hard the air itself seemed to freeze. You could feel the power shift, his hands moving, the tension spiking. Both translators, handpicked for their diplomatic credentials, looked like deer in headlights, missing more and more as the Sheikh's dialect got denser, technical, laced with little cultural hints you'd never spot in a textbook. Wilson stared at the polished conference table, the dreams of 5 Manhattan blocks, green roofs, sustainable, everything slipping away because of a misfire in translation. 3 months of legal bills, endless prep, all about to go up in smoke. And then, out of nowhere, this quiet but clear voice cuts through the tension. "If I may, Your Excellency," not another exec, not a lawyer, nope. It was Maria Alvarez in her black and white housekeeping uniform, hands still warm from the coffee pot, standing there like she just realized she was the last adult in a room full of kids fighting over Lego bricks. I'm telling you, everyone stopped breathing. The Sheik's face went from annoyed to stunned. Wilson's whole crew just gawked at who the hell was this? Turner, Wilson's right hand, half stood to shut her down, but Wilson, maybe out of curiosity, maybe desperation, just shook his head. "Let's see what she's got." "You speak the Northern Gulf dialect?" The Sheik's voice had this edge of suspicion, like he was looking for a trick. Maria didn't flinch. "Yes, Your Excellency. I believe there's a misunderstanding about the contingency clause in Section 4.3. If I understand your concern, it's that Pinnacle might be able to dilute your voting rights under certain conditions. What Mr. Wilson is proposing is actually mutual protection benchmarks that'd have to be agreed by both parties." You could see the Sheik recalibrating, studying her, this woman nobody had noticed for 3 days. "You understand these details?" "I do. The translation's been a little loose with the financial terms." "What Mr. Wilson meant is," she walked them through it, line by line, in Arabic so natural it was clear she'd lived there. Then she explained, calm as you like, how she'd earned her master's in international finance at NYU, specialized in Middle Eastern investment, and even worked at the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. Her story spilled out she'd lived in Sharjah for years as a kid, her dad an engineer. You know that moment in a movie where the background music cuts and everyone just listens? This was it. One of the Sheik's advisors whispered to him, eyes wide. "You were on the Al Maraya Island project," the Sheik stated, no question in his tone. "Your payment models were innovative." Maria just nodded. "Thank you, Your Excellency." Wilson, still clueless but sensing the balance had shifted, finally broke in, "Miss, do you work here?" Maria turned to English as smoothly as flipping a light switch. "Yes, Mr. Wilson. I'm working my way through my PhD at Columbia. The schedule works for my classes and, yes, I've heard everything." Turner tried to wrap his head around it, and you could hear the skepticism in his voice. But Maria just explained, fact after fact, pointing out a critical translation error about those clauses. The Sheik interrupted, cutting off Turner's protests about proper translators. "They know formal Arabic, but not our deal-making vocabulary or context. This young woman does." Now, the whole fate of the deal hung on a hotel employee. Maria glanced at her watch, said she could stay an hour before class. Wilson didn't hesitate. "We'll handle your hotel and pay you for your time. Please help us." She nodded, sat down at the table, not the sideboard, right between both sides. "And men," She just took over, clarified every point, explained every cross-cultural misfire, even reframed technical concepts, so both sides got it. She told Wilson, after a back and forth in Arabic, the sheikh isn't worried about profit sharing, it's the governance in a downside scenario. In Gulf business, decision authority matters as much as money. And your focus on performance metrics? It's not mistrust, it's corporate governance and shareholder law in the States. The whole vibe changed. Tension drained away, replaced by real dialogue. Maria switched between English and Arabic, unpacking details, reading the room, listening more than she spoke. Even the sheikh's most stubborn advisor got on board. By the end of her hour, the big issues were settled, both sides scribbling revised terms, practically relieved. Just before she left, the sheikh stood. Everyone else quickly followed and thanked her. He wanted to continue tomorrow if possible. Wilson, freshly humbled, offered her a consulting gig for the rest of the talks. Maria paused, weighing her responsibilities. I support my mother and sister. I can't just quit. Wilson promised. We'll take care of your shifts, and your fee will match your expertise. After she left, the sheikh told Wilson, appearances are deceiving. In my country, we judge the well by its water, not the ornaments around it. The next afternoon, Maria walked in not in uniform, but in a sharp navy suit, a slim leather folio in hand. The transformation was almost comical. Same person, finally seen for who she was. The hotel manager confided to Wilson that she'd always been overqualified, but the world isn't exactly fair to young Latina women with no connections. At the table, the sheikh's team greeted her like an old colleague. They'd read her old research on sovereign funds been missed when she left Abu Dhabi. Turner, still puzzled, blurted, how does someone like you end up cleaning hotel rooms? Maria finished his sentence. After the 2008 crash, jobs disappeared. My father passed. Family came first. Hospitality gave me flexible hours to finish my doctorate. The room went quiet, no judgment, just the sting of hard truth. For 2 days, Maria drove the deal, not just as a translator, but as the bridge. She crafted language that protected Gulf governance traditions and Pinnacle's performance needs. The agreement finally came together, everyone satisfied. At the close, the sheikh personally invited her to interview for a new division in New York. Wilson offered, too. Maria kept it cool. Her doctor came first, but she'd be open. When the ceremony for the new Manhattan project hit the press, all the cameras caught Wilson and the sheikh shaking hands. No one mentioned the woman who'd save it all. But Maria, now Dr. Alvarez, started as director of sustainability in that same building. On her first day, she found a gift pen engraved in Arabic. Judge the water, not the ornaments. May you keep surprising those wise enough to see your value. She smiled, thinking about all the invisible people still brewing coffee and emptying bins in that city. You know what I mean? Sometimes the right voice at the right time changes everything, not just for the deal, but for how we see the world and each other. So, let me ask you, how many times have you overlooked someone who could change your life, or the whole game, if you just listened? Was Maria right about the real opportunity here? Drop your thoughts below about justice, second chances, and what it really means to see someone. Let's get the debate going right here, right now.